You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. We are here once again. And man, today, just like any other show, we have another hot lineup for you. We're going to talk to a music artist, Élishia Sharie. Go to her website, ElishioSharie.com. Man, I just want to first of all say it's a true honor having you on the show. How you doing today?
Yo, I am doing fantastic, and it is an honor to be on this show. How are you doing?
Man, I'm doing great. In the green room, I had trip over a wireless cord, but other than that, man, I didn't spill no coffee, so we're doing pretty good, man. So we're
good.
You're calling us today all the way from Los Angeles, man. You're doing some neo alternative rock, and I think that's pretty dope. You have influences like AC/DC. I mean, no one is going to be sleeping underneath the rock. If you don't know about them, then I feel bad for you. But first and foremost, man, tell us a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into the current music you're doing today.
Okay. Well, again, my name is Élishia Sharie, and I am a Los Angeles neo-alternative rock artist who is just looking to bring more visibility to Black rock groups, and then also women in music. I feel like, there's a lot of us women in rock music in particular, but we don't get enough shine or enough respect, which seems to be pretty standard, I suppose, across all industries. But like, I'm here to make some noise and to show people that women, and especially Black women, really can and do rock.
See, that's already dope in itself because, we know some of your influences, just a few that I mentioned, but was there a particular person that got you inside the music industry, or was it like you yourself networking and teaching yourself how to do things?
Wow. Yeah. So I'd have to say it's been more of an experiment and a learning experience for me. I started doing music very young. Whitney Houston was like my initial inspiration for singing. And, throughout like my childhood, I competed in, talent shows and things of that nature. And then I had kind of quite a long period of time where I wasn't doing music, and certainly not pursuing it on a professional level, due to some vocal loss that I experienced for about a decade. And so when I finally got to a place where like my voice was good again, my confidence was back up there, then I decided to go ahead and start pursuing music professionally and just putting myself out there. A lot of my friends in my circle are, artists. So, I've kind of had the luxury of watching them and how they do things. And so, taking those notes and then just applying it to what I'm doing now, has really kind of helped me to, I guess, try to make my mark in this industry.
And you mentioned that basically after a 12-year battle to recovering your voice,
yes.
First of all, that's a long time.
It's a long
I'm thinking about time. I'm
yeah.
like, man, 2 years, I'll be waving the white flag. Like, what? 12 years?
I waved that flag many times. I'm going to tell you, many times.
That just shows the fact that you really care about music. You care about what you're trying to do. So
I do.
Give us a sense before we talk about some of the music that you released recently. What is it about music that just makes you want to create? Because it is a creative mind approach.
Yes. Music is just, it's just something that has always been a huge part of my life. it's something that like I turn to in like my happiest moments, like when I want to celebrate, like what's on that playlist for my celebration. It's something that I turn to, when I'm, having a bad day. And, I put on songs that, kind of help me to, get my emotions out about whatever I'm going through, or to like, help me feel better. It's just something about music that I haven't been able to walk completely away from, even when I couldn't pursue it in the way that I wanted to pursue it. So yeah, like what makes me do it? Like it's the impact. It's the impact that it's had on my life. And I've just been kind of hoping to put music out there that has the same impact on people when they're going through it, or like when they have something to celebrate.
And you as a music artist, the process of just being in the studio and recording, do you have a team that helps you write, or do you write your own lyrics? How does that work for you?
Yeah, so I write most of my music. My husband is actually a producer and songwriter, and he produces all of my music. And he's had a hand in 2 of my songs as far as writing them. But for the most part, like I do, the writing for my stuff, because I want to, I want it to be as relatable as possible, relatable to, me and what I've gone through or am going through. And like, I want to be able to say like, yes, like this is what happened to me. This is what you're going through right now. There's light at the end of the tunnel. You're going to be all right. So I like to have a hand in the writing and in the telling of my story, for sure.
And once again, we're talking to Élishia Sharie. Go to her website, lishiasharie.com. So let's talk about this new project that you released recently. It's called New Strange. And First of all, I mean, people hear that right away. They're like, man, what is this about? So tell the audience, what is New Strange all about?
Sure thing. So New Strange is my latest release. I released it at the beginning of this year. I was initially going to release it last year as kind of a narrative on just some of the things that I was going through during what was a pretty big, time in everyone's life, 2020 and the pandemic. And, we're kind of still going through that now. I had started off, pretty on the up and up and the positive about, what had been going on and, all the mandates and the lockdown and all of that. And, I was kind of cool about it, but like, by the time we got to September, I was really just starting to feel the weight of, being in the house and not being able to perform, on a public stage. I was doing like a bunch of online shows and all of that, but it's not as fulfilling to me as, being on a stage and in a room with people, because I use my music as a tool to reach people. And I like to, be, face to face with those people. So I was really just kind of, feeling that void. And so I sat down one night and I just kind of started writing out, my feelings about it. And that's kind of how, New Strange came about. I just started writing lyrics and, typically I don't have a melody when I write stuff. But this particular song, like the melody was like kind of already there. And so I wrote it, I recorded it on a voice memo and I gave it to my husband and I said, here, like, this is the next single. Do you think you can kind of create like a bare bones track for me to give to my band so that they can kind of, fill in the rest? Because I wanted them to also have a hand in this song, because I know, they've been going through things as well, during the pandemic. And I kind of wanted them to get out everything that they had in them on this song.
And speaking of the band that you just said,
Yes.
You have on the keys, you got Jay, you got CJ on the drums, you have Alberto on the bass, and you have Jose on the guitar, and you yourself on the lead vocal. So how did you meet your band? Was it a combination of y'all were in the same area or just music networking? How did y'all come together?
Well, this is actually a fun story. Well, okay, so Jay on the keys, that is my husband, and my producer. And occasionally he's, you can find him on stage with me playing keys for like a couple songs that we do together. But as for the rest of the band, so I found Jose and Berto on Craigslist. I put up an ad. I was looking, for a new band. I had a band previously, but I knew that the direction that I was going in, they weren't really going to accommodate the direction I was going in. So I knew I needed to find people who were really going to be dedicated to what I was doing. So I put up this long-winded ad on Craigslist and laid it all out there for people. Like, this is what I do. This is what I'm doing. This is where I'm going. If you want to be a part of this, then hit me up. So, a whole bunch of people submitted to it, submitted their video links and all of that and their social media profiles. And, I just kind of just went through that process. And I like to think I'm a pretty good judge of character, even if I've never met you. I kind of have a discerning spirit. So, I saw Jose and just the way that he played, and I could just see and hear the passion. And I knew that he would really bring something, to the soulful side of my neo-alternative rock genre, right? And then Berto, I was just like, yo, this guy is pretty killer on bass. He's really going to bring the booty. That's what I like to call it, the booty to my songs. So I reached back out to them and said, hey, come and, kind of audition, but it was really a rehearsal because I had a show coming up. And I was just like, let's just see if we vibe together. And we had another drummer, but he's recently departed from, our band to pursue like a regular job. So CJ is actually a new addition to our band. We actually just played our first show together on Friday. And I found him on Band Mix, which is like another kind of social network for musicians. And if you're looking for musicians, you're looking for people to jam with, whatever. And I saw his profile and saw his background and, gospel and R&B, but he also plays a little rock. And I was just like, all right, well, we set up a Zoom call, and I was like, yeah, come to rehearsal. And so, everything just kind of worked out and gelled together. And so now we're getting ready to go on tour together.
Oh, that's big time because, number one, those are risks. All that's risks. When you say Craigslist, I was like, wait, is that still around?
It's still there. And I try not to use it unless I'm desperate, I guess.
It's like, I thought he's going to say MySpace, log in real quick and say, hey.
Now, does MySpace still exist?
Nah, I think it's a virus. I'm joking. Oops, that's terrible.
Oops.
Nah, I'm just saying last time I logged in, I got something happened. So I was like,
nah. Oh, yeah, dang.
Yeah, everyone's friends with, what was his name? Tom with the white shirt or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, that's in your top 8.
But I'm glad.
Top 8 might be like a top 10, 15 now.
I'm glad no one on MySpace and Tom was trying to audition. So that's good news that you had quality, not just people, but just talent. So when y'all started making music, was it difficult to produce music, especially with, the big writing on the wall, what we had to go through last year? How was it, how y'all adapt to produce music? Because,
Yeah. So, technology is amazing because you can collaborate with anyone, anywhere, at any time. So, to be safe last year when we were putting together New Strange, we did everything remotely. We had gotten together, obviously for our, our online shows that we did. And we may have had maybe 3 rehearsals and then a show where we performed New Strange online. So like that was kind of our time in figuring out like what that was going to sound like. So then when we were ready to record, we just, we just sent out the track. And so, look, like we started with my guitarist who, kind of laid the foundation for that. And, said, this is how many BPMs it is, lay that stuff down that you were doing, at rehearsal and at that show. And so he did that and obviously added to that. And then we sent it to, Berto, my bass player, and he laid down, a few bass lines for us to choose from. And then the final touch obviously was, me finalizing my vocal. And then my husband actually did the drum programming on that song. But it was based on the drums that my former drummer had played. So like everyone who, had a hand in how that track sounds obviously got, a piece of the pie for that song. They have, their percentage for it and all of that. So I mean, it was pretty seamless. I normally would have, gotten everybody in the studio and we would have recorded, live. But, given, the current circumstances, we're like, okay, well, let's just kind of, everybody just be in their own space. That way you get to, do your parts as many times as you want to do them and then send me what you think is best. And then we'll put it all together and mix it down, master it, and then, put it out there.
Once again, talking to Élishia Sharie, and go to her website. Once again, that is ElishIaSharie.com. And fast forward to now, you're still pushing the project and you're using social media just like every other music artist. So what have you learned along the way? Because a lot of people had a little time, you know what I'm saying? We all had a little bit of time to learn about marketing and other things. Yep. What have you changed or just put emphasis on as far as pushing your music and marketing with the world watching?
Well, it's funny that you say, we all had a little bit of time to, learn marketing. Marketing was actually my major in college. And then I run like an agency where I do branding and graphic design and web design, marketing, all of that stuff for clients. So every day is like a lesson in marketing for me. But when it comes to like my personal brand, as a music artist, I actually handle all of like the visuals that you see, like from my website to, even some of the photos I've taken myself, but I do have like a media team that does it. And obviously when I'm performing live, I can't do my own video.
I thought he was going to say that you do the sound engineer. I'm like, dang, that's some talent right there.
I don't do the sound engineer. I mean, I know what I like to hear, right, and I can provide some direction. Yeah. But typically like I'm very hands-on with my brand, because it's important for me, for people to truly know me and where I'm going with this music. So I'm very hands-on with it. So during the pandemic, I have to say that I kind of took a step back from social media, especially when we got to like, September, October, November, those months where, I mentioned, the pandemic was kind of starting to weigh on me a little bit. So I kind of took some time to just really focus more on, me and my mental health and not trying to like really keep up with social media. But one thing that's really important to me in my approach to social media is to just show your true self. And I feel like a lot of times, people are putting on a front. I hate to say it, but there's a lot of people who put on a front on social media. And, I think it's a great tool to market yourself. But I also think people can get wrapped up in just like the fakeness of it all.
What do you think about that idea as far as being more emphasizing on your value versus trying to seem like you're famous?
I am all about authenticity. So there's obviously, for me, there is more of a weight on being valuable than, just being well known or famous. Because what I want what I want people to know me for is the music and the message that is, weaved in and out of the music that I have. So like, yes, people are drawn to me because of like my look. I'm this gal with this wild gray mohawk. And I feel like, that I use that to my advantage to get people to kind of like hear more of what I offer, like in the music, because I do feel like my music is valuable. It has a valuable message. It's music that really does make you think and inspires people and encourages people, which is like a really big thing for me. So that's why, when I took that step back from social media, like I wasn't really concerned about, oh gosh, like where are my followers going to go? Or like, I'm not going to be getting new followers every day, because for me, it's not about the fame and the numbers. It's really about like the impact. So yeah, I wish, more artists, put, that type of, I guess, pressure on being more impactful, as opposed to being more popular, I guess you could say.
I might get in big trouble for saying this, but I'm gonna be bold. I feel like
be bold.
People gotta understand Twitter, Instagram, all these platforms, they're not paying you a dime. So why are you worried about the likes and retweets if you're not even changing no one's life? I mean, I'm just saying.
Right. Yeah. And there are the quote unquote influencers who get paid to promote products and all of that.
That's true.
But like a lot of times, like those products really aren't benefiting anyone.
And let me clarify.
Is Tummy Tea really doing? See, I'm probably about to get in trouble. Is Tummy Tea really doing something for somebody?
Yeah, right. But let me clarify what I'm saying. I'm not saying it's a like bad place, Right. I don't want people shooting me down my emails like, oh, I can't believe you said that. I'm like, no. What I'm trying to say is have some kind of, because when you're on those platforms, you're building a community. Exactly. Just like you and your music, you're building a community. You're trying to build your grassroots supporters, so that way, boom, you're making an impact all around the world. So I know I digress a little bit, but going back to you, you the artist, you the voice, you have family that is, I should say your husband, so I'll get like another email, but you have him a part of your team, and he's not just part of the band, because I thought like he was just the master and engineer, but he's all that, and he's on the stage performing. And how does that feel to have your own family be that close to making music with you?
Honestly, like it feels great. It's I guess it kind of serves as a bit of like a comfort level for me too. Just knowing that I have someone who fully supports what I do. He doesn't question like, my creativity, which I appreciate. And, he's always there to, give me feedback when I ask for it. But also, it's nice to have someone there at, every show who is like rooting for you and cheering you on. So I love it. We have like a really cool like relationship. We've been together for almost 15 years. We just celebrated our 7-year wedding anniversary.
Wow.
Congrats. So thank you. So we've been rocking together a long time.
Yeah, I see what you did there.
Yeah, you see what I did there? So yeah, it's great. Like I love it. I absolutely love it. And I mean, he's super talented and he and versatile, because I'm not the only artist he works with. But he works with all different kinds of artists from rock to gospel, and, has had a song on Billboard and all of that. So he's a pretty dope individual, and it's nice to have him in my corner for sure.
Once again, been talking to Élishia Sharie. You go to her website, LishiaSharie.com. And before we let you go, a few more thoughts for the audience, the one that's listening. That's the only reason why I'm here. It's just for the listener. So they're listening right now, and they might be inspired by your story, especially a woman want to do some rock and roll. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, what words of wisdom based on your whole experience will you give to the ladies out there who are trying to make their voice heard in the music industry?
I feel like I might have a couple of things. My number one thing that I always share, really with anyone who is trying to do music in this industry, is to just be yourself, be unapologetically yourself. I know, like, when we turn on a radio, we hear a lot of artists who sound like other artists, and it seems like everybody is making the same kind of music and talking about the same stuff, and that's true. But what I've noticed in my journey, even people who aren't really hip to rock music, like that's totally not their vibe, they still come to the shows, or they'll buy merch, or they'll at least, promote my shows, and tell other people that might actually, be interested in what I'm doing. They rock with me in that way because they see, one, how authentic I am and how genuinely devoted I am to the type of music that I do. So I think, being your authentic self is key. Like you draw people to you when you are your authentic self. And then secondly, what I would want to share, especially with women, because it is so hard for us in this industry, we have to deal with a lot of crap. And really, I just want women to know that, you're going to come against some stuff. There's going to be men, and heck, there's even going to be women who try to get you to do things that don't align with your morals and your values. And I just want to encourage women out there to not compromise who they are to get to where they're going. I know it seems like the easy way, to fast track your career, but I guarantee you're going to look back at that and you're going to be a little upset with yourself. It may take you a little longer to get to where you're going, but I feel like it's just going to be so much more rewarding when you do get there and you get to say, I didn't compromise myself or my music or my values or anything for anyone to get to where I'm at.
Those are some good words, because what happens is when you have the mindset of, hey, this is what I want to do, well, that means you might have made that mindset when you had some good ice cream and everything was perfect, life was easy. But then as soon as storms come in life and you start saying, dang, it's kind of hard, man. Man, is there any shortcuts? Like, can I do some Diddy Kong racing or something? Like,
right.
But what you're saying, I'm being silly, but what you're saying is true, because there's no shortcuts. There's no shortcuts. Someone told me a few weeks ago, there's no, fast way. Sometimes you got to take the stairs. You can't always
take the stairs. You can't take the elevator.
Yeah. And then I came back, I remixed it, and I said, yeah, but sometimes you got to build the elevator yourself.
Yep.
You got
to do that too. Yeah, that's facts.
But
real.
Once again, man, we've been talking to Élishia Sharie. Go to her website, ElishiaSharie.com. And before we let go, what would you like to tell the audience?
Before I go, well, I mean, you've already been shouting out the website. I appreciate you for that. Thank you so much. Yes, go to ElishIaSharie.com. That's where you can connect with me. You can join my mailing list. You can find me on social media. Just typing in Élishia Sharie. I'm on Élishia Sharie on everything. And that includes all downloading and streaming platforms. My music is everywhere. So yeah, just, connect with me. Like I mentioned earlier, we're getting ready to go on tour. We're going to be, hitting some of the West Coast and the Southwest. So definitely follow me on my website and on social media if you're in those areas and you want to catch a show.
Perfect. Thank you so much, Élishia, for being on I Am Refocused Radio.
Thank you so much for having me.